start. Good afternoon. Let's open the second part of today's computational linguistics session. And the first speaker is Nazari Romanki, who will speak on behalf of the team of scholars, including Olga Cherednichenko, Dmitro Sitnikov, Nataliia Sharonova, and Polina Sitnikova. The talk is on selection of large language model for development of interactive chatbot for SaaS solutions. You are welcome.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. So let's start with the intro. Why we are doing why we are doing this research. So first of all, software as a service business model emerged and dominates the global landscape. Applications like Netflix, Amazon, yada yada, they're really one of the biggest players on the market. Moreover, Mac Alliance gains significant popularity, which relies on composable software architecture applications. So where does chatbots fit? Within the SaaS business framework, chatbots play a crucial role in enhancing customer engagement, providing real-time support. But at the same time, emerging technologies like LLMs can be a great choice for chatbot development. So let's review our key findings from related works review. At least half of Fortune 5,000 companies have experimented with chatbots. That really highlights that the chatbots is a crucial topic for businesses. Literature review also underlines different weaknesses of chatbot agents in comparison with the humans, such as limited understanding and knowledge and limited empathy and emotion. So this is another prospect where we could use LLMs to address this weakness of a typical chatbot. Another highlight is that evaluating chatbots and natural language generation is a well-known challenge. And there is also a highlight in that researchers do that applications usually tightly coupled to their intent recognition providers, hampering their maintainability, reusability, and evolution. So what is the goal of this research? So the research of related works proves that chatbots play a crucial role in modern businesses, and development of one requires tremendous effort and knowledge to produce a bot that fulfills the business goals and customer desires. None of the works explored the usage of modern LLMs like ChatGPT to build chatbots for SaaS applications so far. Therefore, the goal of this article is to build an architecture of a chatbot that can use different LLMs interchangeably and to select the best LLM for using chatbot development. Methods and materials. As a chatbot interface, we have selected Telegram, since Telegram provides really a great API, and it's moreover, what's more important for us, that according to latest research, 47% of Ukrainians prefer to use Telegram to read news, etc. That is really crucial for that majority of the users already have Telegram installed. For server technology choice, we have selected Node.js due to its asynchronous AI nature. That's really crucial for performant chatbot server to handle thousands of requests simultaneously. The framework to interact with LLM, we have selected LangChain as a framework. This framework is designed to leverage different language models like GPT from OpenAI or others. Specifically, this framework addresses your really crucial capabilities in interaction with large language models. So what's the experiment? So here you can see an example of our chatbot architecture. We have users, they interact with Telegram, with our chatbots via Telegram that acts as an interface. We have a Node.js server that reacts to messages with the webhooks. Then we have LangChain Python server that essentially is being called by chatbot server with all the messages and context, and then LangChain transforms it into a server, transforms that into a prompt talking to an LLM of your choice. Here you can see an example of response. Here we're like redirecting the response to ChatGPT, asking what is an LLM for. How we will be selecting the best LLMs. So first of all, there is a few criteria to that, is how LLMs perform under different circumstances. We will be focusing on question answering, language understanding generation, common sense reasoning, technical understanding, bias and sensitivity analysis. Besides of prompts, we also will be comparing key metrics for LLMs, for example, response times and cost effectiveness. Which LLMs we will be comparing, because we have limited resources for this. We will compare just 3 of them. It's ChatGPT, LLama, and Khair command. We also wanted to compare Google's Gemini, but it's not available in Ukraine. So unfortunately, we had to stick with these 3. Results and discussions. First of all, let's give a quick overview of technology. So Khair command is really similar to in terms of API to OpenAI. Their focus is be able to use for developers and businesses to do real quick integrations. They focus on natural language processing understanding. At the same time, ChatGPT is developed by OpenAI. That's essentially like a leading industry leading company. It's really has vast knowledge base and generative capabilities with focus on efficiency. LLama is part of Meta's LLama series. So essentially, this one is from Meta company. Capabilities and use cases. Khair command ideal for applications requiring natural language understanding, including content generation, summarization, and sentiment analysis. ChatGPT Turbo 3.5 supports a wide range of use cases from educational tools, chatbots, creative writing aids, yada yada. LLama is also can handle quite a broad spectrum of tasks and is quite performant and suitable for academic research, experimentations, and potentially even real-time applications. Prompt result comparison. So all LLMs were able to provide reasonable and non-biased answers. The Khair LLM tends toward long and detailed answers, even when it's not appropriate. Also, it's worth to mention that Khair LLM failed to comply with restrictions to provide answers just for sentences, which plays a crucial role in LLM's capabilities. Llama gives more emotional answers, and ChatGPT provides most appropriate answers, short when needed and detailed in case you ask for complex and technical questions. Just to compare some key metrics, average response time and cost per 100 token in output, you can see that ChatGPT gives you the best quality to cost ratio. Conclusions. We try to deal with a selection of a problem of selection appropriate LLM for chatbot development. At the same time, we address challenges of chatbot development with multi-layered architectures that enables businesses to scale chatbot throughput as the business grows, and what's more important, to replace LLMs if needed without effect on the rest of the application. The ChatGPT seems to be the best choice in given circumstances, as it gives the most relevant answers with lightning speed. Future plans. The work is limited to usage of pre-trained LLMs, what is a great starting point for any LLM integration. But to build a truly unique customer experience for your SaaS application, customers, we need to ensure that that the chatbot has all the relevant information and fine-tuned according to your needs. So this topic is to be explored in future works. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Let's take some questions.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you're welcome. Who would like to ask any questions? Do we have any? Well,
I guess silence is golden.
Yes, then I will ask you one question. So, does it work for the Ukrainian language?
Yes, it depends on which LLM provider you're using, right? So we have here in this architecture, you can select essentially which LLMs you use. It really depends on the provider. ChatGPT recently rolled out support for Ukrainian language. With regards to Khair command and LLama, I'm not sure, but it really depends on which LLM you are choosing because they have different capabilities.
And does it work the same, let's say, well, yes, for English and for Ukrainian? Have you
I have used ChatGPT quite a lot with like Ukrainian prompts, and in general, I was satisfied with its performance. But in this article, we were mostly focusing on English prompts because of global market, right?
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Any more?
Yes, we have one more, Victoria Zhukovska.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I have a question. So when you presented the comparative analysis of different chatbots, you have mentioned that one of them is or gives more emotional answers. What does it mean, and how did you analyze, or how did you prove that this, gives the most emotional answers? What does it mean?
So in presentation, it's hard to show it, but essentially in article, if your article contains all the responses, and you can see that responses with a llama have some more emotional sentiment in terms of it can include smiles, and can include all like more, I would say, more emotional even words, rather than saying, I can help you, let me give you an answer. It can include more like different words from a wider variety of spectrum. It's hard to explain it if you don't see the answers itself, but they are present in the article. You can find them there. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Maybe some other questions? I can't see any other questions. So thank you very much for your presentation, Nazari. And
thank you for listening.
we move on to our next team of presenters, which include Olga Cherednichenko, Olga Yangolenko, Antonina Badan, Nataliia Onishchenko, and Nunu Akopyans. They will give us some interesting insights into large language models for foreign language acquisition. You're welcome.
Okay. Dear colleagues and the conference participants, our present paper deals with the problem of large language models for foreign language acquisition. The AI-based chatbots have proved strong communication simulators to replace the board and chalk traditional classroom activities. They closed the gap of the non-existent native foreign language speaking environment and became indispensable under the COVID pandemic, and even more so after the Russian invasion on Ukraine, the reasons that sent education to distance learning. The research project aimed at optimization of the foreign language acquisition in the blended learning mode was launched by a collaborative team of foreign languages department of Kharkiv Polytechnic and Romance and Germanic Philology Department of Vasilka Razin National University, both based in Kharkiv, Ukraine, within the Scientific and Methodological Laboratory. In the road, there are previous studies of using multimedia technologies, followed by the digital technologies for communication simulation. The large language models are the subject of the present research, which focuses on intensification and acceleration of language acquisition. Given the complex dual object of study, human and AI communication, we use the combined methodological framework consisting of communication theories, and interpersonal communication is based on Paul Grice's maxims, later expanded to 7 principles of effective communication, the mastery of which is one of the key goals of translator training. Another type of communication, human-computer interaction, draws on knowledge from computer science, cognitive science, and human factors design. The latter takes into account the influencing factors in learning that we have discussed in previous publications, in particular, the hedonic effect during learning activities and the simulation of movement. These data were used as a base for a 4-dimensional frame of HCI. This frame model, within the context of foreign language acquisition, depicts the necessary branches of participants, students, teachers, facilitators, and the corresponding human and AI interlocutors in specific contexts and modes of interaction for specific purposes, cognition or communication. The frame emphasizes the role of educators as organizers and facilitators of the above interaction, but the frame also opens a wide range of roles for LLM in the educational process: information seeker and organizer, interlocutor, classes assistant, tutor and advisor, character, and forecaster. The material of the study was the textual, graphic, and sound output generated by the LLMs and implemented in their methodology and practice of teaching, text message generating chatbots, STT, TTS tools, machine translation tools, graphic image tools, special edutainment tools were used for the experiment. The experiment involved modeling learning activities aimed at developing 4 basic language skills. Their effectiveness was verified through a 2-phase survey of students and teachers. A LLM-based reading comprehension toolkit is largely focused on enhancing students' vocabulary and improving grammar knowledge, and as a direct consequence, developing better reading comprehension. It consists of using a chatbot ChatGPT, Google Chrome extension, GPT for Sheets and Docs, and AI-powered vocabulary booster in the application Small Talk to Me. These tools contribute to students' reading comprehension in several ways: text understanding, summarization, clarification, question answering, contextual understanding, and language translation. A LLM-based listening comprehension toolkit incorporates such AI-based browser extensions and applications as Speechify, Morph AI, 11 Labs, IO, Auto AI, and an AI assistant Talk to Mia, which is part of the Google Chrome extension voice control for ChatGPT. The former 3 tools generate lifelike speech in any language and voice with a text-to-speech technology, which combines advanced AI with emotive capabilities. The latter 2 tools are based on speech-to-text STT technology. These tools help students to develop listening comprehension in situational dialogues, improve pronunciation, and master appropriate intonation patterns. A LLM-based writing toolkit incorporates such AI-based browser extensions and applications as DeepLWrite, NeuroFlash, Grammarly, Chatbot ChatGPT, Novel AI, and Google Chrome extension GPT for Sheets and Docs. All of these tools are focused on improving students' grammar, style, and boosting vocabulary. LLMs can analyze text for clarity, conciseness, and sentence structure. This toolkit can highlight areas where a writer can improve the flow and readability of their work. Similar to a writing toolkit, the LLM speaking toolkit incorporates image generators. These generators serve as tools to introduce new vocabulary associated with visual content. Students can recognize and acquire words linked to their images, broadening their lexical repertoire and enhancing their precision in self-expression. Hence, gamification and diversification of the educational process with the help of LLM-based speaking toolkit via the ability to personalize communication and choose a topic is an additional factor of encouraging students to develop speaking skills in the course of foreign languages learning. The experiment has shown the effectiveness of LLM in certain types of work on the development of 4 language skills. The most productive types of work for students and teachers' needs are mapped in the LLM matrix. The list was confirmed by the results of the 2 surveys conducted among the students and teachers of the 2 universities at the beginning and in the end of the winter semester 2023 and 2024. The results summarized in the table show the dynamics of user activity towards LLMs, the most popular LLMs, and preferred types of work, as well as attitudes towards the possible risks of working with LLMs and the idea of restricting LLMs for educational purposes. As a result of the survey, it was found that the LLM has only limited effectiveness in developing students' communication skills. This is because both teachers and students use AI as a tool. It also explains the fact why digital literacy, which has shown significant growth since 2019, according to our group's research, has slightly declined in 2023 according to the self-assessment of the respondents themselves. Large language models in all their variety have become indispensable for foreign language acquisition as a more efficient alternative for human tutoring. Additionally, their supplementary role fits perfectly into the blended mode of teaching and learning. The unsolved issues of hindering cognitive abilities are being currently dealt with by both technicians and educators. As a result of the present study, the 4D frame of human-computer interaction has turned up to shift from human-machine opposition to social interaction. Moreover, the 4D frame unavoidably merges with the linguo-pragmatic approach to show how the intention of human participants should reveal their goals and results and set the tasks to both human mind and machine. The above task formulations are still in their embryonic state, which fact paves the way for prospective investigations and study for the 4D frame model's perfection, alongside with the ongoing merge within blended learning that is expanding rather than discarding the traditional as well as linguo-pragmatic approaches. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Very interesting approach, yes, to language learning. Well, questions? Are there any questions, dear audience, dear participants?
So may I ask?
Yes, of course.
Well, thank you very much for your interesting and educational reports, but I would like to ask a question of a discussional character for you to think. Will ChatGPT technologies and other intelligent systems we broadly use, including the students, will it harm their ability to develop language skills? So if we use ChatGPT, we cannot think over themselves how to produce some texts in educational process. So do you understand my question?
Well, in my personal opinion, of course, it can harm the cognitive abilities, and it is a common idea from both technicians and the users. However, we can avoid its harmful effects if we rightly merge the blended mode, the traditional mode, and get, and benefit from ChatGPT in the way if we build the proper technique, proper model of getting back from GPT to the traditional model, so that the students could use, for instance, the vocabulary they have encountered back by in their oral exercises again, and in this way build this pyramid of building the frequency of using the new vocabulary which they first encountered in the ChatGPT. But this is the skill of the teachers themselves, I think. We must work on it, how to avoid it.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. No more questions. No more questions. Then thank you, and we we move on to our next team of presenters. So it's my pleasure and honor to welcome Victoria Zhukovska, Alexander Mosiyuk, and Solomia Buk with their research into multi-parametric profiling of a linguistic construction, linguo-quantitative and machine learning aspects. So the floor is yours. You are welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, dear colleagues. I need a second just to adjust my presentation. Okay.
It's fine
Okay,
now.
is it okay? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Good afternoon, dear participants. Let me introduce myself because today I'm going to present. My name is Victoria Zhukovska. I'm from Zhytomyr Ivan Franko State University, and my co-authors are Professor Solomia Buk from Ivan Franko National University of Lviv and Associate Professor Alexander Moiseyuk from Zhytomyr Ivan Franko State University. And today I would like to share the results of our research on multi-parametric profiling of linguistic construction.
Victoria, excuse me, we do not see the right part of the slide.
We see research back.
It is covered with this.
I'm presenting research purpose. Is it okay or not?
Sorry, I'm sorry. So we mean that there is a kind of let's say rectangular, yes, on the right side of your presentation. There is something which
prevents
makes us it's difficult to see what's there.
Okay, a minute, please. Okay, I am trying to hide this line. Okay, is it better?
No, now it's better.
Yes, perfect. Yes.
Okay, is it better?
Oh, it's better.
Yes.
There's still something on the top, but we can see everything. Well,
But
now it's better. It's worse.
Okay. And in such a way, is it better?
No. Well, right now it's good. Well, you can leave it
because I tried to hide all the windows, yes, supporting windows and icons, and I just have my presentation on the screen, nothing else.
It's fine now, so you can
It's
continue.
okay. So then let me proceed. So as you know, the development of modern linguistics is accompanied by a discussion about increasing the objectivity of research data and finding ways to improve research precision. Exactly the use of linguistic quantitative analysis tools specifically designed for processing large amounts of language data increases the degree of evidential support for the obtained results, revealing new data that would be difficult to identify through conventional empirical and interpretative approaches. So in our study, we present a case of research which aims to discuss the results of the linguo-quantitative multi-parametric profiling of linguistic constructions, where we specifically focus on English, so-called detached non-finite, non-verbal with explicit subject constructions, and adopt a cognitive quantitative construction grammar approach as a theoretical and methodological foundation. So, in our research, we draw our attention to the so-called non-finite and non-verbal with explicit subject constructions, which are represented on the screen. So you all know them. For example, her eyes growing perceptibly wider, hands in pockets with thick spectacles perched on the very end of his nose, despite oil being the lifeblood of industrial society, what with her mother being immaculate and so on. These complex close-level constructions possess several idiosyncratic features that set them apart from other complex syntactic structures of the English language. I can say that different aspects of these syntactic structures have been already analyzed in the studies conducted in the spheres of descriptive grammar, generative grammar, corpus linguistics, functional systemic grammar, and construction grammar, but although several studies have been conducted, the linguistic versatility of these structures raises a number of questions that have not yet been finally resolved. And primarily, most research has concentrated on the qualitative rather than quantitative aspects of these constructions. Moreover, parameterization of their linguistic profiles hasn't been carried yet. And of course, the identification of determinant properties that define their linguistic behavior in modern English hasn't been investigated. The theoretical and methodological background of our study is defined by a new approach that has been developed in our studies, and it is called cognitive quantitative construction grammar. This new trend of quantitative grammar approach is based on triangulation of theoretical assumptions and analytical tools of two broad linguistic spheres. They are cognitive semiotic grammar approaches and quantitative and corpus studies. So the main idea of this approach is that the language is analyzed in terms of constructions. So the traditional term of a grammatical construction that is widely used in traditional grammar has been substantially modified and reinterpreted in the trend of cognitive quantitative construction grammar. From the point of view of this approach, constructions are considered to be emergent, cognitively entrenched symbolic units which are conventionally used by language community, and they exhibit pairings of generalized form and meaning or function. So they exhibit or they are pairings of form and meaning which can be singled out on every language level. That's why constructions embrace all language levels, and they can be differentiated or they can be distinguished on the level starting from morphemes and abstract clausal patterns to text types and genres. So the study of language presupposes the analysis of the constructions which exist in this language. All constructions organize inventory of taxonomic networks of constructions, the so-called constructicon. To analyze a construction, any type of construction, a morphemic construction, a grammatical construction, or syntactic construction, means to analyze its parameters of form and meaning. These parameters can be various, starting from prosodic, morphological, syntactic, semantic, and up to functional, pragmatic, and so on. So the most effective analytical and research tool for examining the essential properties of a construction is a comprehensive methodology for multi-parametric constructional profiling, which has been developed in our study. In quantitative corpus studies, profiling refers to the process of establishing specific linguistic properties of a particular language level based of a particular construction of a particular language level based on the quantitative indicators of this property or parameter, which is realized in the corpus. So then profile of a linguistic unit is a set of established quantitative indicators. The set of these properties determines the linguistic behavior of the construction. Multi-parametric profiling is based on the procedure of linguo-quantitative parameterization. The procedure entails identification and specification of the inventory of parameters which are peculiar to every type of the construction, and then their verification in the corpus with the subsequent verification through a through a machine learning model. So for you to understand what we mean under the notions linguistic parameter and factor, let me introduce the following example. So linguistic parameters of a construction, so these are specific linguistic features which are realized at a specific language level. So these parameters are further realized by, in particular, factors, and these factors are then manifested in specific language categories. They are called in our paper factor values. So non-finite, non-verbal syntactic patterns with an explicit subject are considered to be syntagmatically complex clause-level constructions, and in construction grammar, they are referred as constructions. So the argument predicate structure of these constructions minimally consists of a predicate, which is expressed by a non-finite form of the verb, namely by participle 1, participle 2, or to infinitive, or non-verbal part, which is expressed by nominative phrase, adjectival phrase, adverbial phrase, or prepositional phrase. Usually, these constructions are introduced with the augmenters, such as with, despite, with, without, or asyndetically, that is, without the augmenter. As constructions, these a specific type of morphosyntactic constructions, detached non-finite and non-verbal with explicit subject constructions are organized into a network of constructions, and this network is structured according to macro level, meso level, and micro level. In our research, we pay attention to micro level constructions as they are the most linguistically rich constructions. So the research methodology presupposes that the sample of the analyzed constructions was taken from the British National Corpus, and we analyzed the database, which includes 11,000 examples of these constructions taken from the corpus. As I have already mentioned that the construction is characterized by the specific form and specific meaning. In our paper, we draw our attention only to the plane of expression, and we analyze only 7 parameters, which include morphosyntactic, relational, referential, syntactic, functional, positional, and distributional properties, which are manifested by 12 factors and 34 factor values. The research methodology presupposes the use of quantitative methods and subsequent objectivation and validation of the results in a machine learning model. So the corpus-based quantitative analysis presupposes the use of 3-stage linguistic and quantitative procedure, which includes multivariate analysis of variance, one-factor analysis of variance, and 2 keys multiple comparison method. And the second stage is verification of the obtained results through machine learning model by linear discriminant analysis. So all the quantifications are carried out using the statistical program R. So now the results of our research. The first stage presupposed the analysis, the quantitative analysis of the analyzed constructions. So during at stage 1, we have applied a MANOVA test to analyze the differences between the constructions according to the identified parameters and factors. So the results of this analysis show that out of 12 analyzed factors, there are quantitative differences between, there are no quantitative differences between the analyzed constructions. So the one-way analysis ANOVA indicates the existence of differences. The next stage was the use of ANOVA, and it shows that there are no statistically significant differences in the realization of 3 factor values out of 34. As this analysis only shows the existence of some differences but doesn't show where these differences exist, the next stage presupposes the use of the so-called 2 keys multi-parametric comparative analysis, and during this stage we analyzed 10 pairs of the constructions, and we established what factors showed the most significant differences in the use within these constructions. So the results of our study show that the linguistic profiles of the analyzed constructions reveal different number of statistically significant differences in the realization of the specified factors and factor values. And these factors have different determining potential. According to the number of statistically significant differences in the realization of specific factors and factor values, we distinguish constructions with high, medium, and low linguistic homogeneity. As you see on the screen, there are 3 groups of these constructions, and the constructions with high linguistic homogeneity are characterized by the absence of statistically important differences, while constructions with low linguistic homogeneity are characterized by quite a big number of differences between different factors and factor values. So the conclusion of the first part of our experiment, which was based on the lingual quantitative parameterization, are the following. So some factors and factor values significantly influence the linguistic behavior of the analyzed constructions, and these determining parameters alongside with factors and factor values of the plane of expression define the degree of these constructions in terms of proximity and remoteness within their specified constructional network. And then the question arises, can the established determining parameters, factors, and factor values be used to classify these constructions beyond the corpus, that is, in the language at all, in general? So then the next stage of our analysis was to verify the results of the conducted linguistatistical analysis in a machine learning model. For this purpose, we used linear discriminant analysis to build a model for classifying these constructions and to identify the variables, that is factors, that contribute most to the separation of these constructions. And for this purpose, the quantification was done in using the statistical program R, using package mass for linear discriminant analysis. So in terms of the this analysis, we can say that the results show a distinct separation of only two types of the constructions, namely unaugmented construction and with augmented construction. As you see, these constructions are presented by different colors. The with construction is presented by green color, and unaugmented or non-augmented construction is presented in blue colors. These constructions are clearly separated by the machine learning model, and according to the factor syntactic function to metric clause, despite construction can be distinguished. So the next stage was to analyze the confusion matrices for the analyzed constructions. And they call that the recall and precision values are pretty high, and particularly for those models with overall accuracy of 0.7 and higher. It suggests a high probability of the correct classification of these constructions by the created machine learning models. So the specified factors may be ranked according to the degree of the model accuracy, and here you can see the ranking of these the ranking of the factors according to the model accuracy indicators. So according to the second stage of our research, we can make the following conclusions. So the results of the machine learning experiment are very similar to those obtained by the lingual quantitative parameterization, though the overall efficiency of the constructed machine learning model to solve the problem of distinguishing or classifying the types of the analyzed detached non-finite and non-verbal with explicit subject constructions beyond the corpus is not sufficient. The model effectively distinguishes only two types of the constructions, namely non-augmented and with augmented constructions, but constructions despite what with and without augmented constructions are more challenging to classify. So in this respect, we can suggest the future plans for our study. We think that this study indicates a need to analyze the constructions using other types of machine learning models and assess their effectiveness in distinguishing between the types of the analyzed constructions beyond the corpus, namely in the present day English. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Dear participants, do we have any questions to the speaker? Yes, so Nataliia Onischenko.
Thank you very much for your interesting information. You analyzed your material according to 7 parameters. And can the list of parameters just theoretically be expanded?
Okay, thank you for your thank you for your question. And really, this parameter or the list of these parameters is not exhaustive. Of course, we can add some more, but we think that these parameters are the most essential because other parameters are not so important. And as you see, even among the distinguished ones, not all of them are so promising in classifying the constructions. So we add also the parameters which show their semantic features, but unfortunately the developed methodology is not appropriate for the analysis of the semantics of these constructions. And we have suggested another methodology how to analyze semantic parameters of these constructions. And we introduced the constructional analysis, which is based on frame analysis of these constructions. But for the parameters of form, we think that this methodology is quite appropriate and it works well on this material.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? It seems to me that we do not have more questions. Thank you very much for your very interesting and informative presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, and we continue, yes. So it's a pleasure to introduce our next speakers, namely Maria Kuzulia, Maria Kuzulia, Vladislav Nikitin, and Alexei Turuta, sorry. I'm sorry about Alexei Turuta. And they will speak on certification of digital content based on NFT technologies. So you're welcome. You're welcome to present your paper.
Greetings. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. Hello. The topic of our research is certification of digital content based on NFT technology. The purpose of the research is creation of a unique platform for certification, purchase, sale, exchange of digital content in the form of NFT, ensuring the ability to protect the information of digital certificates containing confidential data. The object of the study is the process of certifying digital content in NFT by endorsing the key snarks and cryptographic encryption. A research subject is technologies for the development of a platform for certification of digital content in NFT, copyright protection of digital content. Relevance. In today's digital world, where data privacy and security are becoming key properties, innovative methods of certifying digital data without disclosure are coming to the front. Blockchain technologies are not limited to protecting digital assets, but can also be effectively used to create secure certification systems. Thanks to blockchain, it's possible to create certificates that not only guarantee the integrity of data, but also ensure its tracking and authentication through a distributed and secure network. In this context, the development of digital data certification in NFTs is noted not only as a tool for unique digital assets, but also as a potential technology for certifying private data. However, up to date, such innovations have not yet been widely used, which raises important questions and challenges. The problem is the lack of effective certification mechanisms that can ensure a high level of confidentiality without exposing the metadata of digital certificates. This limits the possibilities for improving the protection of confidential data, especially in areas where a high degree of trust and security is required. The introduction of innovative approaches for certification, including the use of the key-snark technology, encryption, and NFT certificates, opens up possibility for the development of high-quality and secure information processing system. In order to achieve these goals, the following tasks were set: analysis of technologies for certification and protection of digital content, development of an algorithmic description of the system, and creation of software implementation. Let's take a look on technologies used for certification and protection of digital content. The first one is ZK-SNARKs. ZK-SNARKs is a zero-knowledge protocol that is used to prove that a subject possesses certain information without revealing it, and without any interaction between the parties proving and verifying the information. The term ZK-SNARKs is an acronym that stands for Short Non-Interactive Zero-Knowledge Argument. Here are the basic stages involved in the ZK-SNARKs process. The first one is setup. On this stage, trusted party generates public parameters. The next one is key generation, where prover generates proving and verification keys. Third one is circuit representation, where a statement is represented as an arithmetic circuit. Four is prover computation. Prover creates proof without revealing inputs. And the last one is proof verification. Verify checks proof validity. System architecture. The chosen architecture for the project is a decentralized application. It consists of three key components: client, server, and smart contracts on the blockchain. The software is designed to support multi-user functionality, ensuring fault tolerance, information security, and scalability. The technology stack includes Vue.js, Node.js, Solidity for smart contracts, Socrates for ZK-SNARKs proof, and MySQL for database management. When it comes down to deployment of smart contracts, the Diamond Proxy contract methodology was chosen. Diamond Proxy is an approach to develop smart contracts on the blockchain that simplifies contract management and updates. The basic idea is to create a multi-contract that contains different pieces of functionality. The advantages of Diamond Proxy are next. The first one is unlimited extensibility, efficient guest management, upgradability without full deployment. Now let's look on sequence diagram, which shows granting access to interact with a smart contract. When interacting with a smart contract, it's first necessary for the user to grant access for this. So the system initiates the transaction. The MetaMask window appears with a prepared transaction, which the user needs to confirm. After confirmation, the transaction is sent to the blockchain, after which the user receives a message depending on the result of the transaction. On this slide, you can see screen form of authorization through MetaMask and screen form of the user profile. Someone plays music.
Yeah, so please, well, mute yourself. Oh, yes, I guess it's okay now.
Yeah, it's good. On the left side, you can see authorization. It's performed by using the MetaMask browser extension. The user enters the website and clicks on the login button, after which a request appears for permission for the use of account previously selected in this MetaMask extension. If the user has given permission to use his account, a request is made to the server, where a nonce number of integer type is generated. After generation on the server, the nonce is sent to the user, who must sign the message, which is random number. This is done in order to make sure that this user is the owner of the account. After that, user has signed the message. A server checks the validity of the signature. If it's correct, the user sends an authorization token, which is stored in browser local storage. Otherwise, an error message. On this site, you can see marketplace page, where collections available for trading are presented. On the next slide, you can see a screen form of certificating content into NFT. It has 5 steps. The first one is upload picture. Next, add description, then select collection to which this certificate will belong, then add properties. And the last one is add encryption key. This step is optional and used in only if user want to encrypt hidden properties. So on this slide, you can see a form of generating ZK snark proof for NFT certificate. For example, English grade is encrypted value, and we generate and proof that this grade is greater than 85. And on the right side, you can see on top how proof looks like, and on the bottom, the verification process of this proof in blockchain. So let's talk about analysis of research results. During our research, we found out that using ZK snarks allows you to confirm the ownership and authentication of digital content without disclosing the content itself. And this will ensure a high level of privacy and anonymity for platform users. Next one is ZK snarks make it possible to effectively prove the data in digital certificates remains unchanged and intact, ensuring a high level of integrity of digital content and certificates. The use of cryptographic encryption allows you for additional protection of confidential data. The research findings strongly indicate that layer 2 blockchains offer superior efficiency compared to traditional layer 1 solutions for deployment and transaction processing. And off-chain storage of metadata proves superior to on-chain methods due to its scalability and flexibility. For example, with IPFS emerging as the optimal solution, offering a balanced approach that prioritizes efficiency, security, and decentralization in blockchain applications. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Do we have any questions? So, any questions from the participants? What about the prospects of your research, of your study, of your product?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I mean, what about the prospects of your research? Maybe you would like to introduce some improvements with time. So, what will it be?
Mm-hmm. In the future, there will be more blockchain networks added to this application, because currently it works only with one. Then more wallets also can be integrated in this application, and also more functionality, because there is always room for improvement. And nowadays, blockchain technology becomes more and more popular. And currently, the only one use case for NFT is like pictures which have no value. But this research proves that this technology can be used for real things, like moving digital content on blockchain without revealing it. So, for example, we can move student tickets on blockchain without worrying that someone will steal this information or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe we have other questions here. No, it seems to me there are no questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And well, it's my great pleasure to welcome the team of scholars, including Nina Rizun, Maria Shvedova, Olena Palatovska, Yevhen Sova, and Alexandra Tomilin, who will introduce the topic Corpus Study of Lexicon Dynamics in Ukrainian Polish Economic and Political Relations. So,
good afternoon, dear.
Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon.
I will present our topic. My name is Yevhen Sova. I'm very honored to welcome all the conference participants and to present our topic called Corpus Study of Lexicon Dynamics in Ukrainian Polish Economic and Political Relations. So, as many know, vocabulary is one of the most mobile layers of language system. It's very reflective of any events, moods of society, their sentiment, and economic, political, and other trends. The relations between Ukraine and Poland have been always of strategic importance in terms of economic, political, cultural, and linguistic contacts between the two nations and the two countries. Since 2022, the relations between Ukraine and Poland have intensified, undergoing specific changes in many spheres of social, political, and other spheres of social life, which also impacted the discourse in news and the lexicon of mass media. So the purpose of our study is to investigate how the usage of lexical units in the Polish language changed in the context of economic and political relations between the two countries during the period of 2022 and 2023. To fulfill the purpose of our study, we use the following. We formulated the following tasks. We need to demonstrate how to do it with the monitoring corpus of Polish news. We will need to outline key thematic groups which characterize those relations and vocabulary used. We will also need to dive deeper and analyze the frequency and connotation of key and most frequent lexical units, and to stratify the most used words by thematic groups and social and political events. To the author's best knowledge, this topic has not been fully covered in scientific literature, especially for the most recent period. So to do it, we use a very large monitoring corpus of Polish news, MonsoPL, which is updated on a daily basis. It contains billions of words from about 1,000 media sources. We will focus on the period of 2022 and 2023, while we use the 2021 as a reference period. When conducting this analysis and analyzing the news, the key topics in news, and the keywords, we apply large language models through Copilot application. We support this analysis with our expert qualitative analysis. We will also analyze frequency and collocations, elements of graphical and quantitative analysis. At the start, we analyzed how the word Ukraine and related words were used in Polish news since the beginning of 2021. We see a very significant increase in the word usage since 2022 as compared to 2021, which stabilized by the end of 2022 and decreased somehow, but it's still very significant and larger than in 2021. So the topic of Ukraine still remains popular in Polish news, but there were some changes. Well, in 2022, most of the topics were related to help to Ukraine, to Ukrainian refugees, to their social integration, to potential union between Ukraine, Poland, Great Britain, and the United States, to some financial issues of Ukrainian refugees. The discourse changed in 2023 because the focus of 2023 is more on the economic questions, such as functioning of Ukrainian enterprises in Poland, transit of grain, transit of and import of other goods, also attitude toward refugees, protests of farmers, some tensions in relations, and then some reset of the relations and unblocking or partial unblocking of those relations. Using large language models and our qualitative analysis, we segregated the following 6 groups of topics in this discourse. They were refugee issues, agricultural questions, economic questions, problems of logistics and transport, Polish-Ukrainian relations in general, and of course, the reconstruction and development of Ukraine. Those were the top topics. To understand which words were the most popular while discussing those topics, we applied the corpus study using Monceau-PL corpus. And here we can see the absolute frequency of words usage, and of course, a distribution of each word between different years. For example, the word refugees, uchodźcy, was used very frequently in 2022, while it decreased in 2023, while such words or phrases like grain crisis, kryzys zbożowy, it had almost no mentions in 2021-2022, but it significantly increased in 2023. Using such analysis, we can see the popularity of words in different periods and their link to thematic groups. Then we applied a more granular analysis of specific words. We show here an example for the word refugees. And we can see that the peak of mentions is at the beginning of 2022, and it's quite high during 2023. However, we can also see the mentions of refugees back in 2021, but the context has changed. If in 2022-2023, this topic is almost fully related to Ukrainian refugees, in the older periods, it was linked to tensions on the Polish-Belarusian border and refugees from the Middle East. So we can segregate the topic by context using this corpus analysis. Another example of quite detailed analysis is applied and is demonstrated for the word embargo. If in 2022, if we analyze the collocations of this word, we can see that this word was used mostly with such goods as coal, import, oil products from RF. In 2023, this word is mostly used in the context of grains, import, continuation of restrictions, etc. So here, using these collocations, we can see the changes in the context of this word usage, which is also very supportive, and it helps us to make our analysis more objective in contrast to subjective analysis without corpus study. We also focused on the most popular lexical units which reflect Polish-Ukrainian relations in the most recent period of 2022-2023. And we can see that the most popular words which were used to characterize those relations are the following. It was transit of agricultural products, commercial permits, electronic use, influx of grain, etc. So let me conclude the key results and key research questions which we covered in our analysis. Firstly, the appearance of very high frequency lexical units in media, it is very influential. It can change the society's attitude towards political, linguistic, economic, and other problems. And it forms public opinion. Secondly, using a combination of objective automated tools such as large language models, such as corpus of news, and supplied with qualitative expert analysis, we managed to prepare a general picture of relations between Ukrainian and Polish societies in 2022-2023 and how it reflected in the usage of specific words and thematic groups. Based on using monitoring corpus of Polish news, we analyzed frequencies of the top words, and we also analyzed the collocations and contexts in which these words were used during this period. We can see an intensification of specific words usage due to specific news. The corpus method helped us to reveal the latest trends, social sentiment, and towards the economic and political relations between the two countries in the recent 2 years. We also investigated specific attitudes, contexts, and vocabulary which characterizes those relations. And we see that there was a significant change in the media discourse. While in 2022, the topics of interest for Polish media were social and political questions, in 2023, the situation changed and more focus is posed on economic aspects and some political aspects. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much for your, interesting and relevant presentation. Are there any questions?